Hey guys, it's me, Maro, and yeah, would you look at that? We finally made it to 2026! Wait, what? No clapping? Oh, well, yeah, I guess it does still feel like it's like 2023 or something. Well, hey, a new year, a new me, right? That's how the saying goes, I think. Actually, I don't think that has any relevance to... It's not that... It's the new year! Anyways, have you ever had those feelings before at life where you feel like you don't know and know everything at the same time, but at the same time you feel as if continuing on the path will end up in sadness and darkness? Silent Hill. Okay, maybe I should have rephrased that a bit, but yeah. Silent Hill 2 is, it's a game. A sequel to the classic survival horror game Silent Hill. If you didn't know that, it's because there's a 2 in the title. I only recently played the Silent Hill games with my brother last year, and oh my god. My god. I remember back when I was a little kid watching my older brother playing Silent Hill 2 at our grandma's house. I was always afraid of it. But now after experiencing it, I don't feel scared anymore. I just feel... sad. For a bit of non-spoiler context, the game starts out with the main character getting a letter from his dead wife telling him to meet her at Silent Hill. If that doesn't set the mood, then I don't know what does. The game is a bit different from Silent Hill 1 and 3 since it dives into the more psychological aspect of horror instead of like the cult stuff. I bring this up because one of the big things in Silent Hill 2 that most people are going to remember is the characters of the main antagonist, Pyramid Head. He is such a creepy and mysterious figure, and yet such a memorable character from the game. So much to the point that he's actually inspired other characters in other games, such as the Crow Mauler from Fear and Hunger. He was also in Dead by Daylight. Pyramid Head is known as a stalker enemy, and yeah, that checks out. When you first encounter him in the game, you are left with only questions, mainly on what this character means to the story. I mean, literally the first time you see him, he just stares at you on the other side of the gate. For me, after I finished the game and learned about Pyramid Head fully, I was in love with the character. Well, not like that. Not like that. The idea of stalker enemies has existed before Silent Hill 2, you know, like the Resident Evil games or something, but the idea that this creature just can appear randomly throughout the game with no warning, no build-up, no nothing, is terrifying. There's one point in the game where I was in a completely different building from before, and at this point, it's been almost like, I don't know, around 3 hours since I've last seen Pyramid Head. I just completed one of the final puzzles that me and my brother have been stuck on for about 20 minutes. I was super thrilled to finish it until... until he just showed up out of nowhere and scared the shit out of me! This is why I love Pyramid Head so much. He can just break the rules of the game and completely fuck you over when you least expect it. Now, how does this relate to today's video, I hear you ask? Well, just recently on Christmas Eve, me and my brother, same brother I played Silent Hill with, also same brother who got me the Guts figure, decided to open up each other's gifts since it's a tradition we do on every Christmas Eve. In which I opened up his gift and saw a familiar face. A fucking Pyramid Head figure?! I didn't know a figure like this existed! So yeah, for today's video, I will be reviewing the one and the only, the Figma Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2. I did already explain who this guy was earlier, so I don't think I really need to do that again, so we can just jump right into the review and start with the box of this figure. The box Pyramid Head comes in is pretty simple. You got the red and black colors that match his helmet, and the back shows him in some cool poses from the game. Also, if you look at the text here, it actually says Red Pyramid Thing, not Pyramid Head. And that's because Red Pyramid Thing is actually the official name of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2, which is a cool touch. Overall, it's a nice looking box. Looking at the box though, you'll notice that there's a thing missing here. And that's the, that's the Figma logo. Yeah, as it turns out, this figure is actually a bootleg, but like, this might be one of the best bootleg figures I own. Why, you may ask? Well, let's move this box out of the way and bring out the actual figure, and... holy shit, dude! This figure looks awesome! Once again, Pyramid Head has one of the most iconic designs in video game history, so the fact that the Figma figure here has got all these little details here is absolutely mind-blowing! This figure looks way too good that I'm honestly skeptical if it's even a bootleg in the first place. But let's actually look deeper into it and start with the sculpt. First, we obviously gotta talk about the body, since that's the most iconic part about the design. The body here looks very nice. Aside from the obvious design choice here, the body is fairly simple looking. He's got boots, a weird cloak dress thing, and arms. And gloves, technically. The sculpt on the body here is very accurate to the game. The cloak has a ton of wrinkles on it, the arms look pretty buff, and the proportions are very nice. Then we come to the head, and yeah, this is just perfect. Pyramid Head's pyramid is sculpted very accurately to the game. And hell, there's even some little cracks and details here on the other side of the helmet, which is very cool looking. I'm super glad they based this design of Pyramid Head based on the game, and not that weird look he has in the Silent Hill Homecoming or the Silent Hill movies. I mean, it's not a bad look for him there, it's just, it isn't Pyramid Head. And he also just shouldn't be there. When it comes to the paint, we got a couple different colors. First, with the helmet, it's covered in this rusty red and black color, which is very nice looking. Honestly, it reminds me of the first time I saw Pyramid Head in the game, where the only thing that sticks out is just the red head, since it's contrasting with the body, and it kind of glows, and I don't know, it's a very nice touch. The body has some simple coloring. For instance, the cloak is this bone white color with some dry brushing to bring the wrinkles out more. There's also some red scratch marks here to make it look like he killed someone. His hands are this darker brown color, the boots are this clean black color, and his arms are this dark tan color. One thing to note, that since this is a bootleg, the arm joints here are white, but on the actual official Figma figure, they are the same color as the skin color. So I just wanted to point that out, since it's not really... That's really the only issue I kind of have with the paint here, so... One more thing to note in the paint department that I almost missed, is that the underneath of Pyramid Head's head is this orange color... Pyramid Head's head? The underneath of Pyramid Head's helmet is this orange color, and it kind of looks like the, I mean, I don't know if you guys really know about it, but like the infection stuff from Hollow Knight. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of that. Overall, the paint and sculpt on this figure is really cool. He looks pretty much 100% accurate to how he looked in Silent Hill 2, a simple yet iconic design that's kind of hard to mess up. So, good job. Good smile. Again, it's still a bit bizarre how this thing even exists. So the figure looks good, but right now he's just kind of standing still. Bro, he's looking at me like it's my fault. Fuck you want. Oh! First, his head is on a ball joint, which is kind of deep in the head, and a ball joint here at the base of the neck. While his head looks very big and has a lot of grooves that go all over his body, he actually has a fairly decent range of movement. His shoulder is on a semi-weird system, where you got a ball joint here, but then you can bring this down and have a ball joint here. It's a little weird it's a bit weird of a system, but it also does kind of stick out, you know, just a little bit. But this means that his arms has a shit ton of movement in just the shoulder alone. But speaking of the arm, he's got a swivel here, a bend at the arm here, a swivel here, and a swivel bend at the hand. Surprisingly, these arms have a lot of movement, so he can do pretty much anything with them. Although, we come to a bit of a different story. You see, the body here is on a bit of a limited ball joint, which can kind of move around. It's mostly just an arcing back, which that at least looks cool. And then we got, So the legs are a bit weird, since they are covered in this cloth thing. I hate this thing. Look, I get that it's accurate to the game and all, but this is... It's just a solid piece of plastic, which means that the legs are very limited. For example, the entire leg here is on a ball joint, and technically it does have a lot of range of movement, but because it's trapped beneath this plastic cloth instead of an actual cloth, it barely moves. However, if you actually look closely, you can see that there's some cuts in the mold, in which if you move them... Yeah, again, it's hard plastic, a kind of weird choice. You can get a bit more range of movement, but still not much. Another thing I really don't like about this is the cloth is sculpted where it like kind of wraps around the legs like this, and it's just... I don't know. Cloth shouldn't like... Realistically, what should have been done, and honestly like a way better choice, they should have like just had an actual cloth material. It could be like a thick cloth material maybe, Like, I don't know, you see how the SH, like, Guts has, like, the kind of papery, like, but cloth material. Also, one thing you might be thinking about is, like, okay, this is just specific with the bootleg. No, this is the same thing with the actual figure, so, yeah. Well, anyways, the knees can bend and swivel, and foot is on a bend swivel. So while the thigh joints are pretty limited by the cloth, the knees and feet are fairly posable, and overall, the articulation on Pyramid Head is decent. My only gripe is the legs and the body, since it's just a big contrast compared to the head and the arms. And honestly, there are similar approaches, considering that figures from the same line have used a cloth and felt material before. So while the articulation is semi-questionable, let's hope it isn't the same case with the accessories. First, we got 4 pairs of extra hands. Besides these normal hands, we got spread hands, fists, and 2 sets of holding hands. With these 2 holding hands, you can make Pyramid Head hold his iconic weapon, this giant knife sword thing. It's a bit smaller than what it should be, but it still looks really good. Now you can make Pyramid Head drag his sword around and kill people, in which it looks awesome. And again, while it is a bit undersized, it isn't the same story for his next weapon, his spear. If you know, you know. This spear looks pretty good, and also it's the correct size, which is pretty cool. And hey, if I did have a second copy, which I don't, I could recreate like the little cutscene or whatever that he looked like at the end of the game, so I don't know, this will do. Speaking of a spear, let's look at this thing. You might be wondering what it is in the first place, as it almost looks like a, it looks like, yeah, let's just get to it. This accessory is actually an extra neck piece, but it has a hole in it, in which if you take the head off of the spear, you can attach it here and make him, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's a thing, in which, if you know, then it's really cool looking. Final accessory Pyramid Head comes with is his very own stand, which is actually quite surprising. It's a simple stand that has a swivel here, a bend here, a bend here, and a bend here. And with this little peg right here, you can plug it into this little hole in the back of Pyramid Head. And thankfully, it's very sturdy, so he's not going to fall over anytime soon. Overall, Pyramid Head's accessories are very cool. He comes with a lot of different stuff that references what he did in the game, and overall, they are very nice looking. Honestly, there isn't really any other accessories he needs to come with. He's got everything that he did in the game, and I'm glad for that. Now he can look creepy as hell, just like how he did in the game. But now it's time to look at his size, in which he's around the 6-inch scale, or maybe even 7 inches. Here he is next to the Nanners Nendroid, the Hia Toys Godzilla Evolved, the Blocky's Ava Unit 1, the SH Figuarts Guts Berserker Armor, and finally, here he is next to the Figma Skull Knight, another figure I got for Christmas. I'm glad he fits in the scale with my other human figures, since, well, Pyramid Head is a human. Now it's time to look at his price, and since this figure was a gift for me, I didn't have to pay anything for this. But also, since this figure is a bootleg, and not the actual official release, the cost of this is going to be significantly less than the real one. I was told by my brother that this figure actually costed around $40-ish, which is about, like, average. But the real figure will cost you an extra $100. Wow. I think this figure looks really good, and even considering that this figure costed less, I am very pleased. But if I had to take the real prices into account, it's, yeah. Although this is his aftermarket price since he's been out for a bit of time, because his original price was $70 to $80, which is pretty standard. This figure for $80 is actually pretty decent. He looks very accurate, has a lot of accessories, and is pretty sturdy. But a figure like this costing $140 is fucking gross, dude. So you know what? I'm actually kind of glad that my brother got the bootleg, and you wanna know why? Well, let me go over it with my final thoughts. So overall, I think this figure is very good. This figure is very accurate to the game with a lot of detail, quite a bit of accessories that relate to the character very well, and has a lot of articulation. And while there is some stuff that is a bit meh, like the cloth sculpt and like the chest articulation, this is still a very, very good figure, with a lot of really good stuff in it. The price being $80 is fine, but $140 is crazy. However, since this figure is a bootleg for only $40, and it has this much detail along with just being very well made, it makes me glad that my brother got this one. Because from what I've seen, this is basically just the official figure with only a couple differences. Also, as my first Figma figure, I am very pleased. Pleased enough to give this Pyramid Head figure a very solid 8.5 out of 10. A really good figure to kick off the new year, and a good figure for people if you are a fan of the Silent Hill series. Well, that's about it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's been a little bit of time since my last review, and I'm glad to get back into it. I'm also going to get back to college soon for my second semester, so hopefully I can continue making videos regularly, but I can't promise that. I could do a Corey Kenshin and make like 100 videos this year, and okay, that's not going to happen. But until the next video, thank you all for watching and sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.